That's what we just had. It violates Catholic law, basically.
Yeah, keep
I'm
an
supposed
eye
to have
on
the
it for a second,
defenders of
see
the
if
church
it
group
runs-
and be able to take it
if it
over because they
streams
would then
well on
set up a
both.
coup
I've got
like
running
we've
on
been
Edge.
seeing with the ongoing globalist activities of Francis.
YouTube.
So we'll
I'm
continue
seeing
to
if I can
watch
get this
that
set up, basically
as it
troubleshoot
unfolds. But I want to talk about
start the
Trump
stream
and
up
the
again.
so-called trade deals. It's a lot bigger than trade.
See if it works.
And under the globalist system, they deindustrialized us by design
Basically, trial run.
to control us. And even Aristotle, the most famous philosopher of all time, said it is also
I didn't even get to play it.
in the interest of the tyrant to make his subjects poor. The people are so preoccupied with their daily tasks that they have no time for plotting.
Seems like it's running fine with both of them.
Plotting their own life, plotting their own interest. That's why communism makes you poor on purpose. That's why it always does that. Any totalitarian system wants the general public at a subsistence level. That is the system of feudalism. Plenty of resources, but they're kept from the public in a class society, like you've seen in India and everywhere else. And it happens over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it seems
the
like it's
Renaissance,
running
the last 500
fine
years in the
on both.
West,
On YouTube
is about decentralizing power and empowering the people, and then it raises everybody up. But
I tried to
that's
do
not
this in the
good for
past, it
tyranny.
was absolutely horrible.
So when the Democrats and the leftists, the communists
with
promise all these goodies, they admit in their cloud and
with
strategy
freeze all
that's
the
just a
time.
modern political philosophy on the philosophy of tyrants that already existed. They didn't invent that. It's just a Democrat Party policy since the 70s to get everybody addicted to government money, get people domesticated, get them dumbed down, and then crash the capitalist system, and then bring in a total tyranny in the name of giving everybody free stuff, but then you learn you don't get free anything. Oh, healthcare is free, you just don't ever get to see a doctor. And it's cold-blooded, and it's done by design, like everything else the globalists do. And that's the official plan of the Great Reset, the UN, the WF, is the Great Reset collapsing the capitalist society, because they say it's wasteful for you to have air conditioning or a car, but they get to fly around private jets like Bernie Sanders. No one should have private jets, they're bad. But I get one, I'm important. So do as I say, not as I do. So President Trump has announced a major trade deal with the United Kingdom, and tied to that is the United Kingdom started claiming he won't keep doing all the tyranny and arresting people that pray outside abortion clinics and all the rest of it. That remains to be seen. But his last administration, the EU and the UK promised to do these deals and then never did them. So Trump just went ahead and forced it.
Yeah.
It ended up being one hell of a deal for the U.S. Writes Nick Sordor, $6 billion in new tariff revenues. U.S. trade on imports from UK raised to 10%. UK tariffs on imports from U.S. lowered to 1.8. $5 billion in new exports from the U.S. And you ask, well, why did they agree to have a super low tariff on us, and then we have a big one on them? Because they have a lot of built-in, other than monetary tariffs,
as we all knew, the tariffs
and taxes and regulations that preclude our goods. And this is the formula that Trump's team came up with, and they've agreed to it.
This was basically
that's why it's an a la carte per country
make sure that we could
negotiations going on. And the
it's
left's
still
like,
up and
we don't
running
know what's
and
happening. It's a whipsaw. Well, that's what negotiations are like.
And was hoping that we could see.
And Starmer literally groveled to him today in a phone call, or speakerphone that aired.
Unfortunately.
And then, of course, we have Carney that attacked Trump viciously 2 weeks ago, but this week rolled over, other than his statement about, well, we're not for sale. No, because the globalists are in control of Canada right now. Trump's saying, why don't you join us in the U.S. to actually have representation? But I don't even think that's a good idea, because Canada's so leftist. But certainly it could be an economic 51st state that could be to benefit of all of us, instead of hundreds of billions to them and then no benefits to U.S. citizens. And even the Canadians just get paid double, triple prices and everything, because Canada has monopolies and combines and cartels, which is another name for oligopoly.
You guys are familiar with Operation
A group of companies working and forming the equivalent of a monopoly. That's what Canadians pay, again, double, triple on average for everything, food, energy, you name it, because
this is a sovereign nation.
There's no competition, because they have controlled trade.
And they do what they
So
want.
it hurts
And if
them
you
too,
know
not just
much
us.
about
And
Pope
Trump's
Francis,
totally
if you
right
watch
about
the
that.
video that I released.
Let's go to a clip of Trump
After Pope Francis
talking
had
about
died. What was it?
the trade
Easter.
deal and its
the guy was covering up
benefits.
for pedophiles.
Here it is.
It was well known that he was.
In addition, the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. But this is now turning out, I think, really to be a great deal for both countries because it'll be really great for the UK also. So they're opening up the country. Their country is a little closed. And we appreciate that. They'll also be fast-tracking American goods through their customs process, so our exports go to a very, very quick form of approval, and there won't be any red tape. Things are going to move very quickly both ways. The final details are being written up in the coming weeks. We'll have it all very conclusive, but the actual deal is a very conclusive one. We think just about everything's been approved. So good for both countries.
All right, the doors are opening. We're going to go back to Trump in a statement in a moment, but they're bringing out the new Pope. Here he is.
This will be the next Pope.
Here we are. Cardinal Momberti.
The Cardinal Proto-Deacon.
Dominique Momberti.
And he's smiling.
He's smiling. He will give us the announcement. Here we are.
Suspense.
Annuncio vobis gaudium magnum. Habemus papam.
Again, if you're watching right now, this is just a troubleshooting stream. It's not going to last for long.
Habemus papam.
It would work well. It would stay. It would work well. It would stream without bugging out.
Eminentissimum, eminentissimum, ac reverendissimum Dominum, Dominum Robertum Franciscum, Sancte Romane Ecclesiae, Cardinalem Prevost, qui sibi nomen imposuit Leonem decimum quartum.
The Catholic Church has been supported for a long time. We've got Archbishop who came out and said that the Pope is covering up for.
So the Pope is Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, who's taken the name of Leo XIV, Pope Leo XIV. Cardinal Prevost is an American, and he spent most of his ministry in Latin America, in Peru, and also in Paraguay. And he's an Augustinian father. He was the provincial in Latin America, and then became the Bishop of Chiclayo in Peru. And he then is also he became the Superior General of the Augustinian Fathers as well. He's now he's been the prefect of the dicastery for bishops.
We see the cardinal electors. They're appearing on the balcony there as well, with this joy and their smiles on their face.
A great joy indeed, and well, it wasn't one of those popular, so to say. It was a great joy.
It's a wonderful joy, and he's from Chicago,
Yes.
Illinois. Okay,
An American.
An American.
And
an American. I think that's a historic moment.
For sure.
Truly, truly historic.
And you can see all the cardinals on the different balconies there. For our radio listeners, you may not be able to see this, of course, but they're appearing on all the balconies to the left and right of the central balcony there. All of them clearly standing out with their red vestments and smiles, and
waiting to again, for all of us to greet this new Pope as well,
The new Pope.
which now we know his name.
Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, Augustinian, and has served as prefect of the dicastery for bishops. A native of Chicago, Illinois, in the United States.
Well, and so as we said before, you saw all the flags and everything out in the square, and now all the Americans are holding their flags.
It's a historic moment.
All right, well, it wasn't the Italian, and I'm not an expert on this. We're trying to find out, is this guy conservative? Let's go back to the feed.
Continuation of evangelization mission of the church.
The priority, yeah. So you can see still they're like little pockets of red where all the cardinals are standing on the balconies.
And from our Vadi drone footage, and seeing it from above there, it's a unique view perched above in front of the facade and looking down at them as they're on the balconies there, awaiting now as the new Pope, as we mentioned there, Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost. And Pope Leo the 14th.
Pope Leo the 14th.
Pope Leo the 14th.
The 14th.
And of course, Leo the 13th was the great social reforming pope for us.
Yeah, and he died in 1903, so still fairly recent in the grand scheme of things.
Was Pope Leo the one with the Rerum Novarum?
Yes, exactly.
There you go, good memory.
From my seminary.
And then his successors wrote other encyclicals every 40 years afterwards.
So he started like a trend.
Yes, and it's really one of the constitutions of Catholic social ministry and Catholic
probably
social
I would
doctrine.
say a pope needed for our times with all the social challenges the world has today.
Yes.
And he's, relatively young, 69 years old, born on the 14th of September, 1955, as we mentioned, in Chicago, Illinois. And so 69.
Well, and Father Paul, as you were just saying, I agree. And maybe Father Bob, you can really stress this point because you work in social humanitarian. Exactly.
Integral human development.
This is an important aspect of the church.
The Catholic social teaching is important.
Very.
And it's often called the untold story of the church, or perhaps the hidden secret of the church. It has so much.
All right, here's the bottom line. Pope Leo.
And maybe later we do a deep dive stream and we'll figure
Pope
out
Leo the
who
14th,
this guy actually is.
an American cardinal from Chicago, is a Pope Francis light. So he doesn't think they need to have women priests, and so they call that conservative. I mean, that's just standard. But he's for open borders and all the rest of it.
You're in here, please share the
So
it's going to be a short one again, but we're going to look into this guy. Here we go. Oh yeah, Pope Francis's legacy.
That is not good.
Sign off of here. We'll look at that.
Basically,
and it's
he used the term gay and transgender
stuff isn't known, but
communications as a first for a pope, and met regularly with members of the LGBT community. That's Pope Francis. But it's saying that this guy basically supported that. So we will continue to follow that. But the big thing is he supported Francis on worshiping the migrants and saying everybody's got to let them in, but of course the Vatican City doesn't have to. So they're calling him a moderate with views close to Pope Francis. That's what you get from ChatGPT and what you get from the corporate media. So they're calling him a centrist, like Pope Francis. Oh yeah, Pope Francis is a centrist. So that's what we always were told. Oh, he's very centrist. Oh yes. So
guy over here in the chat.
There's the gimmick that he's American, showing how much power shifted back to the United States.
We might have to go on Brave to figure that out.
And of course, you see the Catholic Church helping the UN. I mean, it doesn't just help it. It's one of the top offenders, run invasions of Europe and the US and the rest of the West. And so they just suck in billions and billions a year of government money to do that. Trump's been cutting that off. I don't know. We'll have to learn more about this guy, but it does not look good to me. We can open the phones up in the fourth hour if Catholics know more about this than I do. I mean, I know quite a bit, but Not as much as traditional Catholics out there I know that are really up on all this.
About it.
Hey, let's see what Mel Gibson thinks. I wondered if he said anything yet. We should. I know he's really on top of everything. So is his son. So we will. I guess I could.
Nothing.
I guess I could call them, try to find what they think. But Robert Francis Prevost, born September 14th, 55, is an American Catholic. He has been the prefect of the Dicastery of Bishops and president of the Pontifical Commission for Latin America. He was the bishop in Peru from 2015 to 2023. He has made a cardinal in 2023 by Pope Francis. He was born in Chicago, Illinois. All right. Well, his eyes don't look evil like Francis. I mean, Francis looks evil to me. I mean, not just the actions. Looks like an evil dude. You have to go with your gut, too. So he doesn't look evil. Now, those aren't really evil eyes, are they now? A little bit. Well, we're going to have to see the actions. But boy, it could have been a lot better. So the betting markets were wrong. Rarely are. This guy wasn't even really making the grade. So I guess the Fox News host, Hemmer, called it. He said, I think it could be American Pope. We could be seeing it first here.
See if there's anything.
All right, let's go back to the live feed here.
Very special moment.
Very special moment.
And here he is. There he is, Card.
And the applause going up, the greeting, the waving.
Big smiles. How amazing.
How amazing.
And Dr. Liz Love was also talking about the symbolism of the red that he's wearing. You know, it is a sacrificial role, and that is the symbol of the cloth that he's wearing right now.
And we see this beautiful close-up view from the side there at the same level as the loggia. Pope Leo XIV.
Pope Leo XIV.
Amazing. Smiling.
Smiling
and
Pope, yes.
You can see who wouldn't be taken by the moment. And,
I think going through his mind, you know, the weight of this responsibility.
Oh, yeah. You can see it on his face.
You can see it on his face.
Amazing.
After this, you're never the same person.
No.
And we're hearing the bands below, the mutual salute of the anthems, the hymns, the Vatican hymn and the Italian national anthem, as we do traditionally at the Easter and Christmas, as we mentioned.
And after this, now Pope Leo XIV, he will give a greeting and impart his first apostolic blessing, the Urbi et Orbi, to the city and to the whole world.
So that blessing extends to everyone who is watching, everyone who is listening, your family, wherever you are. It's a great moment to prepare ourselves for this faith.
In the fourth hour, and I will do the whole hour on this, I will open the phones up for Catholics to call in and give their take on this, and we'll do research in the time being on this guy.
Deep dive and see if we can get any dirt on this guy. Not that I want him to have a bunch
I can just tell you that
get into positions of power for a reason.
This does not
and here he is.
look good.
America is taken over, ladies and gentlemen.
But he's not as bad as Francis on a first look. All right, he's speaking. Let's go to him.
I got to sign off.
Questo è il primo saluto del Cristo risorto, il buon pastore che ha dato la vita per il gregge di Dio. Anch'io vorrei che questo saluto di pace entrasse nel vostro cuore, raggiungesse le vostre famiglie, a tutte le persone, ovunque siano, a tutti i popoli, a tutta la terra.